Hello, BookTube. I have a mail haul for you here, and we're going to try it. I did a mail haul yesterday that behaved itself. And then I did another mail haul this morning that did not. I have not been happy this week with my mail hauls. They have been all over the map, and that's not fair to you. That's not fair to the authors. So we're going to try this. The key, I shouldn't say that the mail hauls have failed. I have failed. So I'm going to try this. We're going to try this again. We have a few packages here, and we're just going to go through them. And we're going to try, I'm going to try to restrain myself so that we have just a normal, interesting mail haul. I mean, a rant now and then, yes, but let's see. Oh, okay, great. All right. Okay, great. All right, this is a finished copy of something. I think we've seen this already. This is by Colonel Art Shaw, retired, with the help of Robert Wise. And this is 82 Days on Okinawa. And this comes out in okay, this comes out in time for the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Okinawa. Okay, it comes out on the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Okinawa. Hardcover, page number, price, ISBN, ebook ISBN. Okay, all right. See, I'm going to restrain myself. I'm going to restrain myself. That's what I'm going to do. There are roughly 700 words on this double-sized pub sheet, and there is no publication date. The one and only thing that any editor opening this package wants to know is not on this sheet. So, but the book is coming out in time for the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Okinawa. So if I look that up on Wikipedia and then I consult an astrology chart and an astrolabe and maybe do some retro calculating, I can maybe come up with a rough approximation of the date on which this book is published. Anyway, let's see what we have here. This delivers an unprecedented soldier's eye view of the climactic and final land battle of World War II, and a campaign so brutal that it convinced leaders to unleash the atomic bomb. On April 1st, 1945, more than 1,500 Allied ships and over 1.5 million men launched the largest amphibious assault of the Pacific War. And the author was a unit commander in the U.S. Army's 361st Artillery Battalion of the 96th Division, and was the first American officer ashore during the invasion and served on the front lines for the battle's entire 82-day span. And the pub sheet, if I do a little criminology, the pub sheet says that the battle started on April 1st, 1945. I wonder if the pub date for this book is April 1st. I'll consult a Ouija board and find out. The one thing that I need to know from this is not on here. Shaw and his men, alongside the Allied forces, bravely fought the Japanese army in what is now understood to be the Pacific War's bloodiest battle. By its conclusion, more than 150,000 soldiers would die as a part of the Battle of Okinawa. Okay, so I think I remember the advance copy of this. The author was 25 when he earned a Bronze Star at Okinawa, and he is now 99. God bless him. And that is our author, with his wife and child. There he is with his men. So we have a 99-year-old super hottie writing his account of his first-hand reminiscences of the Battle of Okinawa. How incredible is that? This is one of 2 or 3 Okinawa books coming out in time for the anniversary. I'm hoping that I can do a multi-book roundup in a review. Let's see what this next one is. See, I controlled myself. in previous mail hauls, including one this morning, 30 minutes would be on the clock, and I would still be going on about that one thing. I don't know what it is. I will get my mojo back, I promise. Okay, this is some sort of thriller. This is Michael Elias. This is You Can Go Home Now. How far would you go to avenge victims of violent crimes? This is the question at the heart of the upcoming literary thriller by screenwriter, playwright, and director Michael Elias. You Can Go Home Now features an enigmatic new heroine who confronts her own shifting moral compass in pursuit of justice. Tough and pragmatic, Nina Karim is single 31-year-old officer in the homicide department of the Long Island City Police Force. She has little room for a personal life because she defines her entire existence by the horrific event of her young adulthood. Her father was a doctor at Planned Parenthood in Albany until he was murdered, shot through his kitchen window by a sniper's rifle in front of young Nina and her little brother. The killer was never found. Nina is certain he is a member of an extremist anti-abortion group and she's looking for him. Consumed with rage, she became a police officer with a singular intent to find the man who killed her father and get her own bloody revenge. Is this the author's debut novel? I mean, we know he's done lots of other things. He is an award-winning writer, actor, director who has written film, television, theater, and fiction. Okay, he's written fiction. His upcoming novel, You Can Go Home Now, is a timely and addictive psychological thriller. And it will be published in June. Okay, all right. Oddly enough, okay, this comes out in June. Oddly enough, the yen that I've had all of 2020 to read murder mysteries is not extended to thrillers. I've noticed. And that when I pick up a little mass market paperback murder mystery, and it starts to have thriller elements, I immediately become interested, and that is interesting. That what makes me curious to think even more about the dividing line between those two things. We'll talk all about that for March Mystery Madness. So let's move on here. Let's see what this next one is. Oh, okay, this one is a debut. This is Richard Farrell's book, The Falling Woman. Which is a harrowing. You think about it, it has a harrowing cover because there's a plane wing, and way down below is a barn on the ground. And this is a deeply moving look at the tensions between family and loyalty and personal desires, and a provocative examination of the value of privacy in this age of saturation media. And the plot is what drew me to this thing. Erin Garrity is on her way to a survivor's retreat when she boards her flight. Facing a losing battle with cancer, with diminishing hope of a full recovery, she considers herself essentially dead to her loved ones, resigned to a fate of failed medical interventions and long, painful goodbyes. Then she awakens in a barn, still strapped to her seat, the sole survivor of the catastrophic crash of Pointer Airlines Flight 795. She flies out of a wounded plane and survives. She falls all the way to the ground, strapped to her seat, and survives. Assumed to have died in the crash, she is intent on remaining dead to the world and to her family, to live out her final days in peace. Charlie Radford, a young National Transportation Safety Board investigator, is part of the team sent to determine what caused the crash. When he hears a rumor of a survivor, he assumes it is a hoax, but as word of his miracle reaches the media and Congress, Radford is forced to track down the falling woman. Can he find Erin and convince her to come forward, and doesn't he have any right to? That is kind of interesting, right? I mean, the whole idea of it is kind of interesting, but it's kind of interesting that the author is going to take that angle in what could otherwise be just a thriller premise, right? One survivor who somehow miraculously falls to the ground in a plane crash and lives, but doesn't want to be found. It's interesting that the author is going to take a different route with that. And this comes out in late May. And I'm looking forward to it. I may read it early. I may read it very early. So let's see here. Let's see what this next one is. Let's see. We don't want to make a mess, and we're doing fine. We're 9 minutes in. We're having a normal mail haul. Nothing wrong at all. It's a normal mail haul. Oh, okay. Wow. All right, I didn't know this was coming. This comes out in June, so I have a long time. Oh my. All right, this is by Toby Musgrave, and it's called The Multifarious Mr. Banks, From Botany Bay to Kew, the Natural Historian Who Shaped the World. The Multifarious Mr. Banks. As official botanist on James Cook's first circumnavigation, the longest-serving president of the Royal Society, advisor to King George III, and father of Australia, and the man who established Kew as the world's leading botanical garden, Sir Joseph Banks was integral to the English Enlightenment. Yet he has not received the recognition due to his multifarious achievements. Don't I remember reading a Joseph Banks biography? I want to ask Margaret Richardson here, because don't I remember reading a Mr. Banks biography? I could swear that I do. I almost want to say it was... Anyway. In this engaging account, Toby Musgrave reveals the true extent of Banks's contributions to science and Britain. He was a pivotal figure in the advancement of the British scientific, economic, and colonial interests. With his inquiring, enterprising mind and extensive network of correspondence, Banks's reputation and influence were global. Drawing widely on Banks's writing, the author sheds light on Banks's profound impact on British science and empire in an age of rapid achievement. Okay, all right, this comes out in June. That is great. That is another biography to add to a slowly growing pile of biographies. But I read that description. I automatically started thinking of Mark Richardson, and I'm trying to think why. Is it the connection with Captain Cook, or is it? Am I remembering that maybe Joseph Banks is a very minor side character in a couple of Aubrey and Maturin novels? As a friend of Stephen Maturin? Now I need to know. All right. Well, anyway, I'm glad it's coming out anyway. Regardless. And then we've got 2 cardboard packages, and then we'll be done. So we don't have long for me to control myself. I'm behaving quite well here. Let's see. I've got package. I had a package earlier this week in a mail haul that didn't actually get filmed. I had a package earlier this week where it was a small publisher, and they put the book in a cardboard envelope. They stapled all the way around the cardboard envelope with those long, wide industrial staples, and then they taped all the way around the edges of the package. And I wasn't for a minute. I threw it out. I wasn't for a minute going to sit there and try and think of a way to open that package. But I don't think I'd be able to anyway. I don't think I would have been able to open it. So I don't know where they thought they were sending it. Maybe they wanted Mr. Spock to review it on Vulcan. But they weren't sending it across the country, that's for sure, because it was impenetrable. But this was just one of those adhesive cardboard things. I'm not going to get drawn into a rant. I'm not going to do it. Okay, I don't need that. So this looks like another thriller. This is by Jussi Adler Olsen, who is Denmark's #1 crime writer and a New York Times best-selling author. His books routinely top the bestseller list in Europe and have sold more than 24 million copies around the world. Good Lord. Do you know this? Do people out there know? Those of you in Denmark, do you know this author? Jussi Adler Olsen? Well, this is his new book in America, anyway. This is called Victim 2117. It's a Department Q novel. Over the course of 7 critically acclaimed blockbuster installments of the Department Q series, Danish crime writer Jussi Adler Olsen has left clues throughout the books about the origins of Assad, the most enigmatic member of Copenhagen's cold case division, who quickly became a fan favorite. And in this book, he richly rewards readers, delivering a tense and multifaceted international thriller that finally reveals Assad's compelling backstory, one that resonates with many important issues in the world today. Now, that automatically makes me wonder how much I'm going to get out of this thing. If I don't think I've ever read a Department Q novel. The newspaper headline refers to the body washed ashore at Cyprus only as Victim 2117, the 2,117th refugee to die in the Mediterranean Sea. But to 3 people, the unnamed victim is so much more, and the death sets off a chain of events that throws Department Q, led by Detective Carl... Oh, I swear, you Danish people. You're going to give me conniptions. Carl M-O-R-C-K with a line through the O. What's the matter with you people? Into a deeply dangerous and very personal case. For troubled teenager Alex, whose addiction to gaming has led to an isolated life, the death of Victim 2117 becomes a symbol of everything he resents and creates a perfect excuse to unleash his murderous impulses in real life. For Galib, one of the most infamous prison guards at Abu Ghraib, murdering Victim 2117 was the first step in a terrorist plot years in the making. And lastly, for Department Q's Assad, Victim 2117 is a link to his buried past and to the family he assumed was long dead. Okay, well, this sounds fantastic. I don't think I've ever read this author. So I'm curious to know. Well, first of all, I'm curious to know if there's going to be somebody else in the room the whole time. Yes, William Frost. This is translated from the Danish by William Frost. And second, I want to know how much I need to know about the earlier books. Do I need to read any other Department Q novels? This comes out in early March, And I am going to use my usual rule of thumb when it comes to that very question, which is to say, no, I'm not going to do it. It's the writer's job to make every book accessible to every reader, whether it's the 27th novel in a series or the first. It's the writer's job to make sure that I don't feel like I'm missing a lot. There won't be the time delayed satisfaction of knowing this character Assad through 6 books. There won't be that, and no author, you can't reproduce that in one book. But by the time I hit page 30 or 40, I should know everything I need to know to get the payoff that I shouldn't need to read any other Department Q novels is my take on the matter. So I'm just going to hold the author to this book and see what kind of a job he does with his translator. And then let's see. This is the last one. I have steadfastly survived. So oh great, oh fantastic. Okay. Okay, great. This is a finished copy of a book that I read and really liked. I can't remember if we saw the advanced copy on this channel, but either way, I'm happy to show it to you again. And this is debut fiction. Let's see here. This is all his publicity stops. He's not coming to Massachusetts, though, so what difference does it make? And this comes out soon. Yes, this comes out soon. March, early March. This is Sharks in the Time of Saviors by Kauai Strong Washburn. Sharks in the Time of Saviors. Actually, now I get to see what the author looks like. Oh, fairly young. Born and raised on the Hamakua coast of the Big Island of Hawaii. He was a 2015 Tin House Summer Scholar and a 2015 Breadloaf Work Study Scholar. Today he lives with his wife and daughters in Minneapolis. He left the Big Island of Hawaii for Minneapolis. Oh my! All right, I didn't know a lot about that. Let's see if this tells me anything. This might not tell me anything about the book. No, it does not. It's all blurbs. All blurbs. Wow! Every author in the world loves this guy. Okay, well that's interesting, but let me tell you about the book. In 1995, off the coast of Kalialua Kona, Hawaii, 7-year-old Nainoa Flores falls overboard into the Pacific Ocean. When a shiver of sharks appears in the water, everyone fears the worst. But Noah is gingerly delivered to her mother in the jaws of a shark, making his story the stuff of legend. Kauai Strong Washburn's debut, Sharks in the Time of Saviors, follows Noah's family as they struggle amid the collapsing sugarcane industry. They hail his rescue as a sign of the favor of ancient Hawaiian gods, a belief reinforced by Noah's puzzling new abilities. But as time passes, this supposed divine favor drives the family apart. Noah, now working as a paramedic in gritty Oregon suburbs, attempts to fathom his expanding abilities. Farther north, in Washington, his older brother Dean hurtles into a world of elite college athletics, becoming obsessed with wealth and fame. And in California, his risk-addicted younger sister Kauai navigates unforgiving academic wilderness and landscapes to forge her identity from the family's legacy. When supernatural events revisit the Flores household in Hawaii, this time with tragic consequences, everyone must reckon with the bonds of family, the meaning of heritage, and the cost of survival. And I read ahead. I jumped ahead. I needed a palate cleanser a while ago, and I read this and loved it. And I am really eager to read it again. That is fantastic. I didn't think that the finished copy is a lot prettier than the advanced copy was. Great. This is... I'm looking forward to reading it again, but I don't expect any unpleasant surprises. I strongly recommend that you tell your library to get this book, or maybe try it yourself at a bookstore. For a debut novel, it's remarkable. So there you go. We got through it. I got through it. I got through this mail haul without derailing into anything. Fantastic. So maybe there's hope for mail hauls. So this is Sharks in the Time of Saviors, a very good debut novel. Victim 2117, the latest Department Q novel from an author who's apparently world famous and the last to know. Then the multifarious Mr. Banks, biography of Joseph Banks that looks at the broad range of his contributions to British history. The Falling Woman by Richard Farrell, another debut about a woman who survives not a plane crash, but a plane breakup in midair. It's like that scene at the beginning of Well, any plane crash movie that you've seen, anything like that, the plane breaks apart in midair. She's sucked out into the air, strapped to her chair. It's not like the plane crashes and she's unconscious and walks or wherever walks away from it. She's missing. This is going to have a lot like what is the Michael Crichton novel Airframe, that it has his usual crappy plotting and his usual paper thin character building, but it also has these usual info dumps, and the info dumps in Airframe are fantastic about airplane crashes and how you how you determine what happened and when and why. All of that is just fascinating. I imagine there's going to be a lot of that in this book as well. Then You Can Go Home Now, another thriller. And finally, 82 Days on Okinawa, by an actual survivor, a leader in battle at Okinawa, who is 99 years old and lived long enough to see his book in print in the anniversary, the big, gigantic anniversary. It would have been inconceivable to that 20-something kid that this would be a work in history, that we would be celebrating his 75th anniversary. It would have been inconceivable to him. And here's the book. And he's the author. That is just incredible. So there you go. That is our mail haul. Very good. All right. We will deal with the mail next time, but I don't know quite when that will be. We will see when the next mail haul is. You'll be the first to know. Thank you, BookTube.